Okay, so you're going to need an open mind for this video. Bring your curiosity to this one, because today I want to talk about whether feeling drunk is really all that wonderful. I mean, we talk about it as if it's a given that having a few drinks feels good, as if it's an actual fact that getting tipsy is enjoyable. But is it really? I know that right now you're probably thinking, what? Of course it feels great. That's why I do it. But honestly, just go with me here. I want to invite you to take a step back and think about the actual physical sensation of getting drunk and what that is really like. And a great way to do this and come at this from a more neutral perspective is to think about someone who never drinks, who isn't used to it at all. Try and picture what their experience would be like if they were tricked into consuming alcohol. What sensations would they feel, and how would they describe that? Perhaps you have children or grandchildren who don't drink, or they're much too young to be drinking. Or maybe there's someone else in your life who you can put into that scenario and picture how they might feel if they were drinking alcohol without realizing it and without wanting to or intending to. When someone comes to alcohol with fresh eyes, when they're given this mind-altering substance without any real expectations around what it will do for them, without any excitement or drama or advertising or romanticizing or glamorizing, would they enjoy the feeling of being drunk? Because when you feel drunk, you tend to feel a bit dizzy and lightheaded. You might feel a bit slow, confused, slightly out of control. Your reaction times get slower, and you might notice some changes in your vision, your speech, and your coordination. You might feel really sleepy or even pass out if you drink a lot. I mean, that is what happens. And it's kind of interesting that we talk about all that stuff as if it's so positive and lovely. Perhaps if you cast your mind back, you can remember your first ever drink. I know for me, I didn't like it. I didn't like the way the room began to spin, and it actually made me sick. One of the women who took my Getting Unstuck course in January this year, I think, she was out at a bar recently, 7 months sober, and she ordered an alcohol-free beer but was given an alcoholic one instead. And she got about halfway through this glass before wondering why she felt, and these are her words, woozy, dizzy, sluggish. And whilst she was obviously upset at accidentally drinking alcohol, it did make her think, why did I used to like this strange feeling so much? It's weird and not very pleasant. When you really break down the feeling of being drunk, it isn't all that wonderful. And I suspect that if you had to take some medication and the side effects included dizziness, a foggy head, and inability to think clearly, speak articulately, or control your actions, you'd probably be quite reluctant to use it. I don't think you'd describe those side effects in positive terms. If anything, it might feel a bit scary and worrying. So why is alcohol so different? Well, it's different because most of us have practiced from a really early age thinking that drinking is a good thing. Even though my first experience with alcohol did make me sick, I still thought it was cool and sophisticated. It was what everyone did. It was what the grown-ups in my life did, and they seemed to rave about it. So I felt certain that drinking was going to be a really positive thing. So I stuck with it, ignored my taste buds, and learned to stomach it and acquire a taste for it. Alcohol is about the only drug on the planet that we see our parents use, so it's totally normalized. And the language we use around booze is very positive as well. You'll notice that when we talk about other drugs, we tend to refer to that as getting a fix or getting high or using. But with booze, we're just getting tipsy or relaxing or feeling a bit merry. So really interesting language. All I wanted to do with this video is get you thinking about the physical sensation of being drunk and what that's really like and why we call that relaxing. Because the worst thing you can do is just romanticize it without really stopping to think about what is supposedly so good about it and why you like it. And look, if you cringed earlier at the thought of giving alcohol to a child, well, that's something to think about. Because apart from their age, why does it feel so wrong? Why would you give alcohol to yourself but never to your child or grandchildren? Why would you want to spare them that? The good news here is that if we are able to convince ourselves to drink alcohol, if we are able to talk ourselves into thinking that that is a good idea and thinking that it's so wonderful to be dizzy and zombified and absent from our own life, well, we're able to talk ourselves into quitting too. Our minds are incredibly powerful. If we can convince ourselves to use a highly addictive, toxic poison that's linked to at least 7 types of cancer and used in hand sanitizer and makes us feel physically sick, well, I think we can use that same brain power to get excited about sobriety as well. We can start telling ourselves a better story about alcohol-free living and the amazing impact it will have on our lives. So I'm Kate B. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this and whether this got you thinking about things a bit differently. I'd also love to hear what your first drink was like, if it was anything like mine. Have a great week, and I'll speak to you soon.